Throughout history, the Stoics mastered the psychology of human behavior, including the complex dynamics of male and female relationships. Their wisdom on emotional resilience, self-control, and maintaining personal values is crucial for navigating modern relationships. One of their central teachings was to always remain true to oneself, never compromising integrity or purpose for temporary pleasures or approval from others. In today's episode, we'll explore 7 key things you should never do for a woman, lessons rooted in both ancient wisdom and modern psychology. These insights will help you maintain your self-respect, strengthen your position in relationships, and avoid pitfalls that can lead to manipulation or resentment. Stick around until the end, because understanding these principles will completely change how you approach women and relationships. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your story in the comments if any of these insights resonate with you. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Stop forgiving disrespect. One of the most fundamental things you should never do for a woman is tolerate or forgive disrespect. Whether it's in the form of subtle jabs at your self-esteem, sarcastic remarks meant to belittle you, or outright acts of disloyalty, disrespect is an unmistakable red flag. The Stoics, who emphasized the importance of self-respect and dignity above all, believed that how you allow others to treat you is a direct reflection of your own value. When you tolerate disrespect from a woman, you're undermining that value and signaling to her that poor treatment is acceptable. Over time, this sets a dangerous precedent, encouraging more disrespectful behavior as she realizes there are no real consequences for treating you poorly. Disrespect in a relationship can take many forms. It could be something as overt as public humiliation or criticism, or it might be more subtle, eye rolls, dismissive comments, or consistently putting you down in front of others. Sometimes, it may even manifest as testing your boundaries by seeing how far she can push you before you push back. If you forgive her without addressing the issue, you send the message that it's okay to continue. What's worse, over time, you may start to internalize this mistreatment, causing your self-esteem to take a hit. It becomes a cycle where the more you tolerate, the more she disrespects, and the more disrespected you feel. A woman who truly values you will not disrespect you. She will understand the importance of mutual respect and will make efforts to maintain it in the relationship. Mutual respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and without it, everything else crumbles. The Stoics would argue that respect isn't just something you give to others, it's something you cultivate within yourself. To allow someone to treat you poorly is a betrayal of your own dignity. Therefore, it's crucial to set clear boundaries and demand respect in your interactions, whether they're romantic, platonic, or professional. It's important to note that walking away from a woman who disrespects you doesn't have to be done with malice or anger. It can be done calmly and confidently as a reflection of the value you place on yourself. Stoicism teaches that we can't control how others behave, but we can control our own responses to that behavior. Walking away from someone who consistently disrespects you is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you understand your worth and will not compromise it for anyone. In fact, leaving a situation that compromises your dignity is one of the most powerful moves you can make. It forces her to recognize the gravity of her actions and makes her reassess her behavior. When you walk away, you're communicating that you won't tolerate being treated poorly and that she needs to step up if she wants to be a part of your life. Paradoxically, this often makes her fear losing you even more. A woman who is used to having control or believes she can treat you however she pleases will be shaken when she realizes she can't manipulate or mistreat you without consequences. The truth is, people, both men and women, value what they fear losing. When you demonstrate that you won't settle for disrespect, you're showing that you are a high-value man with options and that you're not afraid to walk away from a toxic situation. This sense of self-worth and independence is incredibly attractive, and it often flips the power dynamic in your favor. Walking away doesn't mean you should be cold or indifferent. It's simply about asserting your standards. If she wants to be a part of your life, she'll need to meet those standards, and if she doesn't, you'll be just fine without her. This doesn't make you heartless, it makes you wise. It shows you're a man who values himself and won't sacrifice his dignity for the sake of a relationship. The Stoics believed that inner peace comes from knowing and upholding your own values, regardless of external circumstances. In relationships, this translates to refusing to allow disrespect to undermine your self-worth. By standing firm and not forgiving disrespectful behavior, you communicate strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity, qualities that women find irresistible. And ultimately, this approach leads to healthier, more balanced relationships where mutual respect and appreciation thrive. In summary, don't make the mistake of forgiving disrespect in a relationship. Address it head-on, and if necessary, walk away to protect your dignity. Doing so not only preserves your self-esteem, but also forces her to recognize your value. Paradoxically, this often makes her fear losing you more, as she realizes you won't tolerate anything less than the respect you deserve. And in the long run, you'll find that this self-respect attracts the right kind of woman, someone who values and respects you for who you are. Chapter 2. Take charge. Another critical thing you should never do for a woman is constantly ask for her permission to lead your own life. While seeking a partner's opinion or input is healthy, especially in a committed relationship, it's entirely different from asking for permission to make decisions. Women are naturally drawn to men who are decisive and capable of taking charge. The Stoics believed in personal responsibility and autonomy, recognizing that a man must be the master of his own fate. When you ask for permission for every little thing, you project weakness and uncertainty, which can erode her respect for you over time. When you lead with confidence and make decisions without always deferring to her, you send a powerful message: you're in control of your own life. This doesn't mean being domineering or dismissive of her thoughts and feelings. Rather, it's about demonstrating that you are capable of steering the ship. A woman wants to feel safe and secure in a relationship, and that often comes from being with a man who can confidently take the reins when necessary. If you're constantly deferring to her, it puts her in the uncomfortable position of leading the relationship, which can create imbalance and frustration. Imagine this scenario: you're planning a night out, and instead of confidently suggesting a restaurant or an activity, you repeatedly ask her what she wants to do, afraid of making the wrong choice. This constant indecision wears thin over time. Women appreciate men who are thoughtful, but also decisive. A Stoic man understands that while cooperation is important, leadership is equally crucial. He doesn't wait for someone else to take action, especially in his own life. It's not just about decisions like where to eat or what movie to watch. It extends to all areas of life: your career, your hobbies, even your friendships. If you constantly ask for her approval or permission to pursue your goals or spend time with friends, you are signaling that you lack confidence and independence. And nothing erodes attraction faster than a man who seems unsure of himself. Taking charge doesn't mean being inconsiderate or ignoring her input. It's about balancing her needs with your own and not being afraid to make decisions that benefit both of you. Women want to be with men who have a strong sense of purpose and direction. When you stop asking for permission and start leading confidently, she will see you as a man who knows what he wants, and that's incredibly attractive. Furthermore, the Stoics would argue that constantly seeking approval from others, whether it's from a partner or anyone else, diminishes your sense of self. They believed in cultivating inner strength and relying on your own judgment, rather than allowing external opinions to dictate your actions. In a relationship, this translates to being the man who sets the course, rather than waiting for someone else to tell him what to do. When you embody this sense of leadership, you not only command respect, but you also create a dynamic where she is more likely to follow your lead, trusting in your judgment and abilities. In summary, stop asking for permission and start taking charge of your own life. Women are drawn to men who can lead with confidence and make decisions without hesitation. This sense of self-assurance creates respect, attraction, and a balanced relationship where both partners can thrive. Chapter 3: Financial Independence. A huge mistake that many men make is spending beyond their means to try to impress or please a woman. It's essential to never sacrifice your financial independence or stability in an attempt to win someone's affection. A woman may appreciate gifts or being treated to a nice dinner, but true attraction and respect come from who you are, not how much you spend. The Stoics were clear on this: external wealth does not define a man's value. What defines a man is his character, his principles, and his ability to stand firm in his beliefs, regardless of material possessions. When you overextend yourself financially to impress a woman, you're essentially trying to buy her affection, which never works in the long run. Women can sense when a man is being overly generous out of insecurity, and this can often lead to a loss of respect. Instead of seeing you as a man of high value, she may start to view you as someone who is desperate for her approval, willing to sacrifice his financial health to keep her happy. It's important to understand that providing for a partner or treating her occasionally is not the problem. The issue arises when you start to equate your self-worth with how much you can spend on her, or when you go into debt trying to maintain a lifestyle that's unsustainable. True financial independence is about being in control of your resources and not allowing anyone, especially a romantic partner, to dictate how you spend your money. The Stoics believed in living within one's means and avoiding the pursuit of external wealth for the sake of validation. Financial freedom, for them, was a form of personal freedom. It meant being able to live according to your own values and not being enslaved by the opinions of others or the desire to impress. In the context of relationships, this means being wise with your money, maintaining financial independence, and not feeling the need to go broke trying to win her over. A woman who truly values you will not expect you to constantly shower her with expensive gifts or extravagant dates. In fact, many women lose interest in men who try too hard to impress them financially, seeing it as a sign of insecurity. What's far more attractive is a man who is responsible with his money, confident in his own worth, and doesn't feel the need to rely on material things to prove his value. In conclusion, never sacrifice your financial independence for the sake of impressing a woman. Focus on building a life of stability, responsibility, and self-respect, and she will be drawn to you for who you are, not for what you can buy. Chapter 4: Avoid micromanagement. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in a relationship is falling into the trap of micromanagement, either controlling every aspect of her life or allowing her to control yours. A healthy relationship is built on the balance of independence and connection. If you find yourself constantly monitoring her actions or, worse, surrendering your own sense of autonomy, you are setting a dangerous precedent that will slowly erode mutual respect and attraction. The Stoics believed deeply in autonomy and self-control. For them, personal freedom was non-negotiable. Each person must be the ruler of their own actions, thoughts, and decisions without infringing on others. When you try to micromanage a relationship, you are ignoring the wisdom of self-reliance and personal strength. Just as you wouldn't want to be controlled or dictated by someone else, you must also resist the urge to control her life. When two individuals come together in a relationship, the strength comes from each partner maintaining their own identity while choosing to connect. Micromanagement can manifest in various subtle and not so subtle ways. It may start with constantly texting or calling to check on her whereabouts. You may think you're being attentive, but it can quickly turn into distrust and insecurity. When you attempt to dictate what she wears, where she goes, or who she spends time with, you're not acting from a place of strength. Instead, you're letting your own fears and anxieties drive your actions. Over time, this type of behavior can suffocate the relationship, and she'll start to pull away, not because she doesn't care about you, but because no one likes feeling controlled or monitored. it's essential to remember that people crave freedom even within committed relationships. Just as you enjoy your own hobbies, interests, and time with friends, she deserves the same. The moment you try to micromanage her personal life, it sends a message that you don't trust her to make her own decisions. This lack of trust chips away at the foundation of the relationship and creates resentment. Even if she goes along with it initially, it won't last. Over time, the resentment will fester and the relationship will begin to break down. On the flip side, if she is the one trying to micromanage you, whether it's telling you how to spend your time, who you can see, or controlling your daily routine, it's just as damaging. You should never allow your partner to compromise your independence. Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes from living according to our principles, not from external validation. If you're constantly adjusting your life to meet her demands, you will lose your sense of self, and this loss will weaken both you and the relationship. Another common form of micromanagement comes when one partner starts making decisions for the other in areas that should be personal. This could involve controlling how you manage your finances, telling you what career moves to make, or dictating how you interact with your family and friends. Even if it starts small, such control can quickly escalate, leaving you feeling trapped. What makes micromanagement especially toxic is that it often stems from insecurity. If you don't trust yourself or her completely, you might feel the need to control things to avoid getting hurt. However, this is a short-term solution to a deeper issue. Instead of working on your own confidence and building a relationship based on trust, you're opting for control, which is a fragile and unsustainable foundation for any relationship. To avoid falling into this trap, embrace the Stoic principle of self-reliance. Trust that both you and your partner are capable of making decisions that honor your individual needs and your relationship. If something genuinely bothers you, communicate it openly rather than trying to manipulate or control the situation. And remember, it's just as important not to allow yourself to be micromanaged. If she starts encroaching on your freedom, that's a red flag. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect for each other's independence. She needs to see that you're confident enough to maintain your individuality and that you won't sacrifice your personal happiness just to keep the peace. In conclusion, relationships are strongest when both individuals have room to breathe and grow. By avoiding the urge to micromanage and ensuring that neither of you gives up your independence, you create a bond that is built on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. This is the kind of foundation that not only keeps attraction alive, but also makes the relationship deeply fulfilling. Chapter 5: The Importance of Honesty. One of the most critical principles in any relationship is honesty, yet it's an area where many men struggle, often for seemingly noble reasons. They lie to protect a woman's feelings, avoid confrontation, or simply to maintain harmony. While it might seem like these small lies keep the peace, they are actually doing more harm than good in the long run. A relationship built on dishonesty is fragile and destined to crack under the weight of hidden truths. The Stoics placed immense value on living a virtuous life, and they regarded truthfulness as the cornerstone of that virtue. For them, honesty wasn't just a moral choice, it was essential for living in harmony with nature and fostering genuine human connections. When you lie to a woman, even if it's to protect her feelings, you are ultimately doing a disservice to both her and yourself. A lie, no matter how small, undermines trust, which is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. Many men find themselves in this predicament because they fear the repercussions of being truthful. Whether it's the discomfort of having a difficult conversation, the fear of disappointing her, or the desire to avoid conflict, dishonesty seems like an easy way out in the moment. But here's the truth: lies will eventually catch up with you, and when they do, they will cause far more damage than the initial discomfort of honesty ever could. When a woman discovers that you've lied to her, even if it was with good intentions, her trust in you will begin to crumble. Without trust, respect quickly follows, and with it, the strength of the relationship weakens. Consider this: if you consistently avoid being truthful about how you feel, what you want, or where your boundaries lie, you are setting the stage for misunderstanding, disappointment, and eventually resentment. You may think you're preserving the relationship, but in reality, you're building it on a shaky foundation. The Stoics taught that honesty is not about delivering harsh truths recklessly, but about living in alignment with your true self and values. In a relationship, this means being transparent about who you are and what you need, even if it leads to difficult conversations. Being honest doesn't mean you have to be brutal or hurtful. It's possible to be both truthful and compassionate. For example, if something bothers you in the relationship, it's far better to communicate that openly rather than pretending everything is fine. Bottling up your feelings or lying to keep her happy only leads to frustration, and those unresolved issues will eventually spill over in unhealthy ways. On the other hand, when you address problems with honesty, even if the conversation is tough, it gives you both the opportunity to grow and understand each other better. Women, contrary to what some men might think, don't want to be lied to, even if it's to protect their feelings. In fact, most women value honesty deeply, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. When you're honest, you demonstrate respect not only for her, but also for yourself. A woman who knows that you are truthful, even when it's not easy, will value you for your integrity. She may not always like what she hears, but she will respect you for having the courage to be open and real with her. Honesty is also critical in establishing clear boundaries and expectations in a relationship. If you're not honest about what you want or what you're comfortable with, how can you expect her to understand your needs? For example, if you feel uncomfortable with a certain behavior or situation, but you don't express it, you're essentially allowing the issue to persist. This breeds frustration and resentment on your part, and confusion on hers. Instead, being upfront from the beginning about your feelings and boundaries fosters mutual respect and understanding, creating a space where both partners can thrive. Another aspect of honesty is being real about your own flaws and imperfections. In a world where people often try to present the best version of themselves, admitting when you're wrong or acknowledging your shortcomings is a breath of fresh air. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from recognizing your own limitations and being humble enough to admit when you've made a mistake. In a relationship, this means owning up to your errors and being accountable for your actions. It shows her that you're not trying to be perfect, but that you're willing to be real. This vulnerability strengthens the emotional bond between you two, making the relationship more authentic and grounded. On the flip side, it's important to expect honesty from her as well. Just as you shouldn't lie to protect her feelings, she should offer you the same respect. A relationship where both partners are honest creates a dynamic where trust flourishes, and this trust forms the core of long-term success. When you're both transparent, there's no need for mind games or second-guessing each other's intentions. In conclusion, honesty is one of the most powerful tools in maintaining a healthy and fulfilling relationship. It's not always easy, and it might require difficult conversations, but the long-term benefits far outweigh the short-term discomfort. Being truthful with a woman about your feelings, boundaries, and expectations builds a foundation of trust, respect, and deeper connection. Women value integrity and authenticity, and by being honest, you become a man who is not only trustworthy but also deeply respected. Lies, no matter how small, will always catch up to you, but honesty will always lead to a stronger, more authentic bond. Chapter 6: Navigating Girls' Night Out. One of the most overlooked aspects of maintaining a healthy relationship is knowing how to navigate situations where your partner goes out with her friends, commonly known as girls' night out. For many men, this can become a significant source of tension. Some men respond by trying to control the situation, while others become indifferent, pretending they don't care when deep down they do. Both extremes lead to unnecessary stress and misunderstandings. The key here is not about preventing her from enjoying her social life, but establishing clear, respectful boundaries that honor the relationship. In Stoicism, much emphasis is placed on understanding what we can and cannot control. You can't dictate every move your partner makes when she's out with her friends, nor should you try. What you can control, however, is your response to it and how you communicate your expectations. Boundaries are not about controlling her, but about fostering a sense of mutual respect and trust between both partners. The aim is to create an environment where both of you feel valued and respected, allowing the relationship to thrive without either party feeling compromised. When it comes to her going out, the first thing to acknowledge is that everyone needs their personal space. Relationships are healthiest when both partners maintain their own social circles and interests. However, there are valid concerns that may arise, especially if her night out involves activities or situations that make you uncomfortable. It could be frequent late nights at bars, hanging out with people who don't respect the relationship, or simply behaviors that cross your boundaries. Ignoring your discomfort doesn't help, it only allows tension to build up over time. The Stoics taught that avoiding difficult conversations is a recipe for future conflict. The key is to address your concerns calmly and logically. Instead of becoming controlling or accusatory, have a direct and honest conversation with her about how you feel. Explain what boundaries you think are important and why they matter to you. For instance, if you're uncomfortable with her getting too close to male acquaintances during these outings, it's reasonable to express the discomfort without making her feel trapped or restricted. Boundaries, when communicated clearly and respectfully, demonstrate that you care about the integrity of the relationship. They aren't a sign of insecurity, but rather of mutual respect. A woman who values the relationship and respects you will understand and appreciate your concerns. By discussing boundaries openly and reasonably, you're not just setting limits for her, but you're also establishing what you expect in a healthy, trusting partnership. She will likely appreciate your clarity and find that it deepens her respect for you. In fact, setting boundaries often enhances her respect because it shows that you have standards and won't allow them to be compromised. It's important to remember that setting boundaries doesn't mean being overly restrictive or controlling. It's not about forbidding her from seeing friends or enjoying her freedom, but rather creating a framework where both partners feel comfortable and secure. If her idea of a fun night out frequently crosses lines that you're uncomfortable with, you have every right to voice your concerns and expect her to meet you halfway. A healthy relationship requires both partners to be considerate of each other's feelings and to strike a balance that works for both. However, it's crucial to be mindful of how she responds to these discussions. If she constantly dismisses your concerns, disregards the boundaries you've agreed on, or trivializes your feelings, that's a serious red flag. A partner who truly values you will recognize that maintaining trust and respect is a priority. She will understand that her actions, particularly during social events, have an impact on the relationship. If she continuously ignores the boundaries you've set, it may be time to reevaluate whether the relationship is built on mutual respect. On the other hand, it's essential to recognize that your partner deserves her own independence, and you shouldn't micromanage her every move. If you trust her, allow her the freedom to go out and enjoy herself without feeling like you're policing her behavior. That's where the Stoic principle of letting go of what you can't control comes in. You can't and shouldn't control her actions, but you can ensure that the relationship is built on trust, communication, and mutual respect. Stoicism also teaches the value of self-respect, which means recognizing when your boundaries are being crossed and not hesitating to stand up for yourself. By setting firm but reasonable boundaries, you demonstrate that you respect yourself and won't allow anyone, not even someone you love, to disregard your feelings. This self-respect is magnetic and often leads to an increase in her admiration for you. Women are naturally drawn to men who aren't afraid to stand their ground for what they believe is right. In summary, learning to navigate situations like girls' night out comes down to creating an environment of respect, understanding, and open communication. Avoid the extremes of being overly controlling or completely indifferent. Instead, calmly set boundaries that protect your values and the relationship itself. Doing so demonstrates strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity, all of which make for a healthy, balanced partnership. When your boundaries are clear and respectful, you establish a foundation of trust that strengthens your bond and ensures the relationship remains both meaningful and fulfilling for both partners. Chapter 7. Prioritize your passions. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is sacrificing their passions, hobbies, and goals for the sake of a woman. While compromise is a natural part of any relationship, losing yourself entirely to please your partner is detrimental both to your sense of self and to the relationship itself. The Stoics believed in the importance of pursuing your personal purpose and never compromising your identity for anyone else. In relationships, this means never abandoning your dreams, hobbies, or passions just to make her happy. Too many men make the mistake of giving up what they love, whether it's a career goal, a personal passion, or even time spent with friends, to cater to their partner's needs. While this might seem like an act of devotion, it actually leads to resentment and unhappiness. When you start to lose yourself in the relationship, you become less of the man she was initially attracted to. Ironically, by sacrificing too much, you can push her away. Women are naturally attracted to men who are driven and passionate. When you have your own goals and interests, it makes you more intriguing, confident, and fulfilled. Your passions give you a sense of purpose, and purpose is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. On the other hand, if you sacrifice your passions to make her the center of your world, you become less dynamic and less interesting, which can erode the attraction she once felt. Think of your passions as the fuel that drives your personal growth. The Stoics emphasized living in alignment with your true self, which includes staying connected to the things that make you who you are. Whether it's your career, a hobby, or a creative pursuit, these are the things that give your life meaning beyond the relationship. A healthy relationship should enhance your life, not consume it. It's important to prioritize time for yourself, your interests, and your growth. This doesn't mean neglecting your partner or failing to invest in the relationship, but it does mean maintaining a balance. A woman who truly cares for you will encourage you to pursue your passions, not demand that you give them up. If she expects you to sacrifice your dreams or constantly put her above everything else, it's a sign that the relationship is unhealthy. Additionally, when you prioritize your passions, you cultivate a sense of independence and self-worth. You're not relying on her to provide all your fulfillment, which is something women find incredibly attractive. When she sees that you have your own life outside of the relationship, it reminds her that you're a man of value and that she's with you because she genuinely admires who you are, not because you're bending over backward to please her. In conclusion, never sacrifice your passions or purpose for the sake of a relationship. Keep your own identity intact, continue to pursue your dreams, and maintain a life outside of your relationship. A woman will respect and value you more when she sees that you are a man with purpose and drive, someone who won't lose himself for anyone else. This is the key to maintaining her respect and attraction while also staying true to yourself. As we wrap up this episode, remember that relationships are about balance, respect, and maintaining your own sense of identity. The Stoics mastered the art of self-control and self-respect, two key elements in any successful relationship. By setting boundaries, staying true to your passions, and never tolerating disrespect, you create a dynamic where you're valued for who you truly are. Women are naturally drawn to men who know their worth and aren't afraid to stand up for themselves. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to watch till the end and reflect on how these principles apply to your life. Hit the like button if this resonated with you, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes. Also, feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below. Your stories might just inspire someone else. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep mastering your relationships with confidence and wisdom.